Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Cadence Spotlight. My name is Hailey, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Event Cadence. We started this series to shine a light on our client-facing team and some of the extraordinary work they do with our customers. Today, I have with me one of our account leads, Katie Chanthakhoun. Let's get started.
Hi.
It's going to be a fun one. I have a lot of great questions here lined up. So I think let's just get started right away. The first question I have for you today is, when teams are evaluating event and engagement platforms, what do you think makes Event Cadence the right fit for them?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So, Event Cadence is going to be the right fit because our solutions are totally customizable. There's actually not a one size fits all solution. And our success is really proven by our accounts that we support, both the pharmaceutical accounts as well as the non-Congress accounts, and the longevity of how long we've supported them. So I sit on the pharma side. I'll speak a little bit more to that. But for example, at ASCO and ESMO, which are some of our largest oncology congresses, our Event Cadence team actually supported a huge chunk of those meeting rooms as well as accounts. And so though we have various accounts and we have the foundation that Event Cadence provides, each of those accounts are able to really build the platform to what they need in terms of what metrics they want to collect or what answers they're looking for. So they all function a little bit differently, however works best for them. And not only can they customize Event Cadence for what metrics they need to capture, but they can also personalize a lot of things, such as the emails that they send out and the invitations, so that when a customer or an HCP gets their invite, it has their branding, it has their tone, and it doesn't seem like an automatic email that comes from nowhere. The other thing of why I bring up our support at ASCO and ESMO is because the HCPs and the customers are getting all of these emails that are personalized, but this scheduling tool that is used for the invitations is consistent. So when they access that invitation and they're looking to schedule their appointment, one, the platform's already really easy to navigate, but because of that familiarity, you're gonna get a really high response rate on those invitations. So that ends up being great for everybody. Not only are you able to customize it for your customers, but you can also build it however you'd like for your internal team as well. So if there are things that you want to add to your event page that you think might be helpful for your internal attendees, such as like resources or decks, or even if you want to send out a survey for that event to your internal team, you can do that. It's really a one-stop shop for a lot of different things, and it is so buildable. So again, it's the right fit because you can customize it to whatever your needs are.
Katie, that is such a good point. It's funny sometimes when you're onboarding new customers or in sales conversations, and people will ask, well, how does this feature work? And I feel like the answer so many times is, well, it depends. How do you want it to work? Because of all the different customization options that you just listed there.
Exactly. Oftentimes you'll hear, well, what do you recommend? And we have our recommendations, but to your point, not every solution is going to work the same for different accounts. And so that's the beauty of Event Cadence.
Totally. And that kind of leads me to my next question. Do you think that's what clients love most? Or when you're speaking with your clients and your accounts, what do they say that they love most about working with Event Cadence?
Definitely the ability to customize the platform. But what I think I hear the most outside of that is honestly how much time it saves all of our clients. And when we are working with people that are new to the platform, I love hearing them exclaim how much time they're saving. So instead of sending back and forth emails or having to hop on alignment calls and go through line by line, hey, do we need to meet with this person? A lot of that is already automated in Cadence, so you don't have to spend all of that time drafting hundreds and hundreds of emails. All you have to do is click a couple of buttons, and after you've set everything up, that all gets sent out, and you can monitor everything in just one event page.
And saving people time, time's the commodity we can't get back. So saving people time, and then they can reallocate it in ways that are more effective for their team. Absolutely. I really resonate with what you said there. Time saving's a good one, customization we talked about, but is there one thing that our platform does exceptionally well that maybe when clients are first starting with us, they don't realize quite right away, but then once they start to get their feet wet, that they realize is really helpful for them?
I think I'll probably keep bringing up that it's a one-stop shop, but a lot of focus, oftentimes, especially with pharmaceutical accounts, is the appointments or the engagements piece of it, obviously, because that's where you're mainly going to your congresses. But one thing I think gets overlooked sometimes is just how powerful a resource it can be for their on-site, their internal members, rather than having to, lug a laptop around all over a convention center. They can navigate on Cadence and they can navigate on their mobile phones. So it's just a wonderful experience for the internal team, in addition to obviously the customers that they are reaching out to.
So true. You can't undervalue having everything the palm of your hand in your pocket. It's something that I know when I've worked with different accounts or, been a fly on the wall, we do integrate with Outlook, which is great. So a lot of times they just can use their Outlook calendar. But something that I always recommend, that extra layer, what you're saying is it's your one-stop shop when you download the actual Cadence app. It has everything you need for the event, personalized sessions, your resources, of course, your appointment schedule, but all of those pieces in one place is very helpful. And speaking of being on site at a Congress, I know you already mentioned ASCO and ESMO. Can you share a recent Congress? Maybe it's one of those two, or maybe one of the other ones that you've attended recently, where you think that Event Cadence really made a difference for one of our clients?
Yes, it was actually at SABCS. So it was a smaller Congress, but specifically for this Congress, I was part of a team that supported a reception. So they brought in Event Cadence to help with their registration and their check-ins. So in addition to engagement check-ins, where you can just use Will Call, which is our Cadence platform for check-ins, all you have to do is press a button to get someone checked in. This time it was at a reception. But with the reception, we had people that had pre-registered ahead of time, as they were recommended to do. And then you also had people that didn't pre-register. And so while we were at this event, we had an influx of people show up that didn't register. And it just so happened that they all showed up a couple of minutes before the program was about to get started and the doors were about to close. And rather than having to pull people aside that didn't register, having them, share their contact, their email to register, have them fill out a waiver for compliance, specifically for the Sunshine Act, which they need to have their signatures on, we were able to just utilize the lead scanning feature in Cadence, which is one of my favorite tools. Not every event will have it, but for congresses that do have lead scanning enabled and set up in Cadence, all you have to do is take your mobile device, scan their QR code on their badge, and then their contact information gets pulled into the system. So you're not having to awkwardly ask for their email or tell them that they need to go through this separate process just because they didn't register ahead of time. And it's just so fast. So all of that gets logged into Cadence, and then you can check them in, capture their signature, have them sign their waiver, and be on their merry way. So we were able to get that large crowd, that huge influx of people, all into the room on time before the doors closed. And then not only was it great and a smooth experience for check-in, but afterwards for the event planner, they're then able to receive a report that has all of that information of who attended, who submitted their waivers, all of the signatures for compliance, and who was added last minute as an on-site registration. And so you no longer have to have the planner walk away with like a huge stack of paper, which then they have to keep track of for the duration of the Congress. They have to take it back home. They have to log it wherever they need to. Everything is digitalized. So I loved that experience. It's probably one of my most favorite wins for Cadence and tech.
I'm so happy that you mentioned our lead scanning. I've had a number of these conversations, and of course, everyone loves the appointment suite and everything we do for room management, but you're so right that the lead scanning is so valuable for all of the reasons you mentioned. And also, something I've seen on site with lead scanning is sometimes you have to use these really outdated devices to scan leads if you're not using Cadence, and it's costly and nobody knows how to use them. Everyone can pull out their, iPhone and scan QR codes. We've all been doing it, since COVID for every restaurant. So it makes it easier on everyone. And then to have all of those metrics on top of it, it's a win-win.
Definitely.
Absolutely. This brings me right to my next question, which is about features. So do you have a favorite feature to walk your clients through? Maybe it's leads, maybe it's something else. And why does it tend to resonate so strongly?
Yeah, I really do think it is the lead feature. It's just such a nifty tool. It's a great win for technology, but we can also set it up if an account approves it. You can also set up the note-taking feature. So instead of having to keep a journal or typing down notes in your phone, when you're meeting with various people at an event, you can actually scan their badge with the Cadence app downloaded on your phone, and then you can enter in your notes. So it keeps everything in the same space. So again, no longer having to lug your laptop and awkwardly take notes as you're talking to someone. And everyone should have a phone. And the Cadence app is available on both the Android store and the Apple store. So it's really easy to get it downloaded, or maybe they have a company portal that they have to install it through. But regardless, we can get it onto your mobile phones. And then all you have to do press a button and point it at their badge, and then you can go on your merry way.
Easy peasy. And then when you have it stored all in one place, you saw this person at ASCO, they attended your advisory board and your reception, like you mentioned, and now we're at, ESMO, and now we have all of that historical data. We can pull that up. We saw that they went to this and to that, and we talked about this, and having it all in one place. So thank you for sharing about leads. I'm really happy to hear your perspective on that. Just a couple more questions here. Is there something about the Event Cadence team that maybe clients don't see? Maybe it's behind the scenes, but something that makes a difference?
I would really say that our Event Cadence team lives and breathes in the platform. Like we are in it all the
So
time,
true.
and we're constantly looking at different analytics. You really see like on the back end, on the admin side, or even deeper into that, we will look at things of like if an email or an invitation had been sent, was it opened? And maybe if it wasn't opened, then lead to addressing, do we need to update some of these profiles so that your information is up to date? Or we also look at if your events are being accessed by your internal team. So if you send out a welcome email, we can actually see how many people have opened the welcome email and read it. We can also see who has logged into Cadence and viewed that event that they have been added to. And what's great about that is it really helps drive the success of the platform for your team and the engagements, because then that knowledge will help the planning team understand if they need to do additional pushes to access the platform, or maybe they need to provide additional trainings. That way, when they start to talk about other features on the platform, that information is not falling on deaf ears. Everyone is really engaging with the platform at the same pace, and we're not losing people behind. Because I understand, like, when you're learning a new platform or when you have a new technology that you need to understand, not everybody learns at the same pace, or maybe they have different methods to understanding how things work. So that's really great in guiding the planning team and our internal team. Additionally, because we're so in the platform constantly, that also helps us really come up with feedback for our development team. So not only is feedback from our clients important, and we take that information back to the development team or back to our teams to, assess if we can provide a solution or what the solutions are. We're also providing our own input based off of what we see happening in the platform or how we can contribute to making the platform even better. So that's a lot of what happens behind the scenes. Sometimes I close my eyes and I dream about things for Event Cadence, and it's great because there's so many possibilities that can really be developed. We have our own development team, so it's like they're always great dreams, because it's like not often that solutions can't, get developed and be put into place.
That is a great differentiator from our team, to have those in-house developers that are receptive and have a roadmap that can be customer driven, especially if multiple customers are asking for the same thing and you're dreaming about it and it all comes together. It really is nice when all those pieces meet and we can get the customers what they need. We can bring ideas to life. It's a great feeling.
Definitely.
And last but not least, the month of love headed into February here. I would love to know if there's something that you love about your role or about working at Event Cadence.
Definitely. I mean, I come from a hospitality background, so service is always like at the center of what I do. So I really enjoy helping people, but additionally, I also love problem solving. I love puzzles. I love, being analytical and thinking about ways that we can have the same process work differently and improve it. And I often hear from clients, sorry if I'm asking too many questions, or sorry if this is a dumb question. And I will always respond back with, first of all, there's never a dumb question, but I am happy to receive all your questions and as many questions as you have, because there are different ways that people like to retain information. Maybe it's a one-on-one training call that they need to have. Maybe it's video recording. Maybe it's a PDF. Maybe it's screenshots. Maybe it's just step one, two, three. And I think in order for event cadence people to be experts, we have to continue to repeat the same information in different ways. And that's what makes us the experts. So I'll always gladly receive the questions, and I'm happy to answer them. And there's nothing better than helping someone to the point where they have that aha moment and they're like, oh, now I understand it. It's so simple. And then seeing them at the next event and suddenly, they're the champions of cadence for their teams and they're advocating for the platform or they're helping other people with the platform. And so things like that and problem solving are really what I enjoy most about this job.
Well, Katie, you've been such a valuable asset add to the team. You're an absolute rock star, and being able to talk to you today was a lot of fun. I feel like I learned a lot too about some of our clients and your experience here. So, thank you so much for joining today.
Thanks for having me.
And if you're listening to this and you're interested in learning more about Cadence, you can go to eventcadence.com. Thanks so much. Bye.